Now we are going to write the code for our sign up form. So as you can see in the original Instagram, I am going to frame this as a div, and this one as a separate div, and this one as a separate div. So I'll take 3 divs here. Second div and a third div. So my divs are ready. So now this is an Instagram text logo div, so this should be a separate div. So I'll write this form, the Instagram text and my sign up button as a div. So inside the parent div, so this Instagram text and the sign up thing and login as comes as a div, and the form comes as a separate div, and the sign up button will be inside my form. So this I'll take it as a div now. So I'll take 2 divs here, and here I write is a form, and here I write it as a image. So here I am going to write this Instagram text logo. So I'll take an image. So as you can see, image and form have come in my web page. Now here I'm going to take an image. I'll give that div to be height of 40%, and I'll give height of 60% for my form. So I'll just apply the border properties for my image div and my form div, and then see in the front end. So as you can see, the black border appears. Now I'll give a height property for my parent div. I'll give height to be 70%, and now as you can see, so this parent div aligned for a 70% height. And here I'm going to write for my image div. So I'll take one more div here, and inside that I'll write my image tag. So I'll get my image now. So my image is ready. So I'll browse my image here. So I'll give a source tag, and I'll browse my image here, which I have declared it earlier. So as you can see, my image comes here, but this image looks way bigger, so we have to modify its styling so that it appears exactly like this. As you can see, some kind of space, padding and all exists between these modules. So I'll take one more div for my sign up to see photos and videos from your friends. So I'll put this inside paragraph, and I'll take one more div for my sign in with Facebook button. Now once if it is done, I'll write the code for my R tab. So for that I'll take one div. Inside that div I'll take 3 divs. Basically those 3 divs are for, one is for right line, one is for left line, and one is for or in the middle. So I'll take 3 divs here, and I'll write or for the middle div, and here I'll just write some dashed lines, and here I just write some dashed line to see how it appears in my front end. As you can see, they are aligned vertically to each other. Let me resize this image. It should be aligned in the center of the div, vertically and horizontally. For that, I'll give a height property of 40%, and I'll give width and height properties to my image so that I can contain the image inside my parent element. So I'll give width of 100% and I'll give height of 100%. And as you can see, it has taken the full width of my div. But here as what might be the reason it has taken the full width of the div. So let me inspect this. What might have went wrong? The height property, okay, the height property should be inside the braces, then only the height property will be applied in Tailwind CSS. As you can see, it has taken the 40% width, but there is no height property mentioned, so width property mentioned, so I will mention width of 50%. And let me see in the front end, yes, it has taken the 50% width of my parent div. So for that, so it should be aligned in the center of the div as like in the original. So this I am going to do now. So I'll just review through my inspect element and see what can be done. So I'll try giving 50%. Okay, this is not working. Okay, so this has reduced my image size like anything. So let me try here what can be done. Okay, I'll mention it as a flex and I'll make it justify center, and let me see, yes, it has aligned in the middle of the div horizontally. Now to align it vertically, I have to give an item center property. So I give an item center property so that, yeah, as you can see, it has been. So I will just try to increase the height. So as you can see now, the Instagram is aligned perfectly in the middle of the div as in the original. Now let me modify my subsequent elements. So let me modify this div. So as you can see, it has been aligned in the center of the div. These are all aligned in the center of the divs. Now I'll give a width of 70% to my sign up to see photos and videos div, and see it has taken width of 70%. But it is not aligned in the middle of the div. So I am going to make changes for that. I am gonna give a width of 100% my parent div, and for the paragraph element I'll give a width of 70% to see how it. As you can see, it has taken 70%, but since my parent div has 100%, So I should align it in the, so my paragraph to be aligned in the center of my parent div. For that I will give properties of flex and justify content to be center. As you can see, my paragraph is aligned in the middle of the div. Now for my login with Facebook, I'll keep it inside a button, and then I'll save. I'll see, okay, nothing is written since I have a plain button. Now I'll apply all the CSS properties for this. As you can see in the original page, the button has been blue in color. So I'll just try to implement all those things here. So I'll give a padding of 20 pixels, and I'll give a background border of rounded, and then I'll give a background of, so I'll go to the color picker and I'll pick the color of the background. So it is actually light in blue in color. So I'll copy the color here with the hash. Now my color is applied to the button. As you can see, now there is color applied to the button. Now padding 20 pixel is too much. So I'll convert it to ems, and then as you can see, so 10 pixel padding seems to be fine for me. Now the text inside the button should be white in color. So I'll give 70% width to my button. So as you can see, it has taken width of 70% of my div. So I'll give border rounded. Yes, so this is how it works in Tailwind CSS. It should be just rounded, and I'll apply text color to be white smoke, just white. So as you can see, now my button looks almost similar to that of the original Facebook thing, original Instagram website. So I'll just increase the height here. So I'll keep 55 So no, it is not working. So this form appears to be a, so I'll just change it here. I'll remove the dashed lines here, and then I'll give CSS property of border top to 1 pixel, so as you can see, the border top property is applied. So I'll copy this and I'll give a width of 40% to this div. So as you can see, my border top width is applied. You can see one line there. So I'll give a width of 70% to my parent element, so that it appears like this. Now I'll copy this CSS properties and I'll paste it for right line, so that 2 lines are applied before and after my R. Now I'll give it properties of flex. So as you can see, it is not aligned in the center of the div. So for that, so I'll change the parent div width to 100%, Then apply justify center property to my parent div, so that as you can see, it is aligned in the center of the page horizontally. Now I will give a width of 10% to my R, and let me see how it appears. This is how it appears, but as you can see, the R is too small. And let me finish everything. I will give a margin top of 10 pixel to my left line, so that it appears to be in the center of the div along with R. Now I will apply the same property to my right line. So this is done. Now I will give a margin bottom of 20 pixels to my parent div, so that there will be some kind of spacing between my login with Facebook button and R form. So I will give a margin y axis here, so that there will be a spacing between top and the bottom element. So I'll inspect through my CSS inspector. Now it's time to write the sign off form. For that, I'll go to my VS Code and create a component called signoffform.js. So as you can see, my sign off form is created with RFC code snippet. I'll write here sign up form. And I'll go to my signup.js page. Here I'll remove the form and I'll browse my sign up form component. And I'll close the tag, and as you can see in the browser, sign up form has been appeared here. Now here I'll write the form using Formic. So Formic is a library to write the form components in React. So inside Formic I have a child called form. For a form I have these fields: mobile number, full name, password. So those are the different kinds of fields. So I'm going to implement here. So I'll take 4 fields: mobile number, full name, username and password. And after that I can see there are 2 paragraphs. So I'll take 2 more divs here, and then I'll take a button which is for submission of the form. So I'll write the button as sign up form, and as you can see, the Formic, form and all are not defined. So let me import them. Let me import them from Formic library. So I have imported. Oops, I made a mistake with field naming convention. So it should be field, it's not filed. So I have changed. Now as you can see, my errors are gone. Now my form, I can see a blank form. Now let me write the different field names here. So first one will be, it should be mobile number or username. So I'll write it as mobile number. Sorry, first one will be mobile number or email. Second one is username, full name. So let me take it as a full name. And the next one is username. And the next one is password. So as you can see, so they are there. Since we have not kept any placeholder or anything, they are aligned randomly. So let me style them now. So I'll go ahead and give a Tailwind class for this as flex, and I'll ask it to align vertically flex call, so they are aligned vertically. Now I'll give placeholders so that it will have some default text inside my text box. So first one is mobile number or email address. And the second one is full name. And the third one is username. And the fourth one is password. So I'll save my code and I'll go to the front end to see how it has been affected. So it has come like this. Now let me give width to my form. So I have given 70%. So as you can see, they are stacked at the width of 70%. Now in the sign up JS, where the sign up form is called, so I will restrict the width to be here. I'll declare it as flex and justify center. So by default it takes width of 100% from its parent. So as you can see, my div is 70% in width and it is stacked in the middle of the div. So I'll just open my DevTools to see how it is shown in the front end. So I'll remove the outer divs as it is restricting my width of my children div. So I'll just go with formic tag. So as you can see now, my divs are 70% in width, I mean the form elements. So now let me go ahead and write a paragraph tag as in the original website here. So I'll copy paste, and by signing up these also like terms and policies, so I'll copy paste this one also. Done. So as you can see now, it appears like this. So I'll apply here a border property. So I'll apply a border of 1 pixel and I'll specify the border to be rounded. So I'll copy this property and place it for my all the fields. It should be under class name. So then only the CSS properties will be applied. So I have pasted it for my all the fields, and as you can see now my form fields appears like this. So let me style this, further style this. So I'll give a kind of margin in between the fields to style them properly. So I'll give a margin Y, so I mean top and bottom, to be 5 pixel for all the fields. And this is how my form appears now. Now I'll give a padding for my form to be 10 pixel. Now you can see my form fields appears like this. Now I'll specify outline to be none for my form fields. So I'll just specify outline none for all my fields, and then so when I click on that, so I don't see any outline is appeared now. Now we are going to style the div. So let me specify class name and make the text to be of 10 pixel size. So this is how my text appears now. So 10 pixel looks way smaller than the original. So let me go ahead and increase it to 12 pixel and see how it appears. So I'll copy this property and I'll paste it for my below div. So as you can see now, my text size has been changed. Now I'll also specify margin top and bottom properties to be 10 pixel so that it gives some kind of spacing between my divs. So as you can see now, the margin property is applied. Now it's time to yes, as you can see, this learn more, I should keep it under a span tag so that I can apply a separate color for my learn more word. So I'll specify a class name and then I'll specify the text color to be kind of light blue. So I'll take my color picker and I'll just grab this color and I'll go ahead and paste here with a hash. So now my color change is done. The same can be applied to terms and privacy policy. So let me leave. So let me work on my button now. So as you can see, this is my sign up button. So the sign up button has a background of blue in color and it has some margin. So I'll write it under class name so that my CSS style can be applied. So I'll give a margin y-axis as 10 pixel. And as you can see, some kind of spacing is given. Yes, this is done. Now I'll specify the property as rounded so that the border will be rounded and the background color to be. So I'll just go to my color picker and get my this color. So this is my blue color. So I'll put hash and then apply the color here, and then I'll apply a padding of 10 pixel for my button so that this is how it appears now. And as you can see, the text inside the button is white in color. So I'll go ahead and implement the text color to be white so that the text inside the button now changed to white in color. So actually this should be in a separate border from starting from Instagram to sign up button. So I'll go ahead and implement the border for this. I'll remove this red border. And then I specify a border for my first div, which comprises of my image, Instagram form, Instagram tag and form, and the sign up button. So let me copy this color and give it to my border. So this is how my border looks like now. Now as you can see, actually my border is before my sign up button. In order to avoid this, I'll go to my VS Code and change the parent height to 40%. So this is how my form appears now. As you can see, my sign up button is well inside my border. And also I'll change my super parent element height from 55 to 60 so that there is some kind of margin also given below my sign up button. So this is how my Instagram form div appears. So this is almost look similar to my original website. Now I have to work on my have an account tab. So here I'll write have an account as a paragraph as a have an account login, and I'll write this as get the app. Here two more divs will come, one is for get the app and one is for logos. So for have an account tab, I'll give CSS properties to be border of 1 pixel and border color as this brown. So I'll copy from the top and I'll paste here. So as you can see, now the border is applied. Now I'll specify a class name for my parent, for my child element, and I will take a padding of 10 pixel so that it will have a kind of padding from all the sides. And for the parent div, I'll give a margin y-axis to be 20 pixels so that it gives some kind of spacing between the divs. And here as you can see, the login is written in blue in color. So for that I'll take a span tag and I'll take the word login and I'll keep it inside the span tag. So I'll copy the color. So I'll go to my color picker and I'll get this. This is the blue color. So I'll copy that color. And I'll go to my VS Code and I'll paste this color. So done. Now as you can see, my login appears to be blue in color. Now I have to style my get the app component. So as you can see, this is Apple Store and Google Play Store logos are there. So I have to. So for this I'll give a class name as flex and flex call so that they will be stacked vertically. One is get the app and the other one is for our logo images. So I'll browse the images. I'll copy the images from the other page and now I'll use the images here. I'll give the specific height property for my parent div so that I'll specify it to be 20% in height, and I'll give here and I'll give the first div to be at a height of 50%. say, so that it gives extra space for my logo images. OS logo images. So I'll give it a height of 60% so it fills my div. Now inside this div, I will take another two divs. One is for Apple Store logo and one is for Google Store logo. So here I will write an image tag for Apple Store logo and one image tag for my Google Play Store logo. Now I will browse my images with src tag. See, this curly brace is very important to browse the image, so which was declared on the top level. So one is for Apple Store and one is for Google Play. So as you can see now, my Apple Store and Google Play Store appear on the screen, but they look way bigger than what I expect, so I have to go and style them. So for that, for the Apple Store logo, I will give width and height properties. So I will give it as a flex. So I will give a width of 70%. So as you can see now, both the images are stacked horizontally and they have a width of 70%. Now that's it. As you can see, both the images are aligned horizontal to each other. But one image looks bigger and one image looks smaller, so let me style them properly. I will change the height of get the app div to be 50% and our OAS store logos height to be 50%, and I'll try to contain the images now. So I'll give height of 100% for the immediate parent of my Apple Store logo, and I'll give height and width to be 50%, 100% for my images in order to contain them inside my div. So let me go ahead and see. So I'll copy the same thing and I'll give width to 50%, and let me see. I'll copy this and I'll paste in my Google Play image, and as you can see now they are aligned perfectly. And also I'll give a gap property of 10 pixel so that a gap should come in between the OS Store logos. As you can see, the gap has come. Now this almost looks similar to my original website. So as you can see now, our form is almost done. Now we have to implement the routing module. So for that, I'll just remove this. So first let me import all the routing module components from my React Router DOM library. So I have to import browser router, and then routes, and then individual route from React Router DOM. Done. Now let me finish the components here. So I'll take browser router, which is parent routing module, and then it has children of routes, and children has route as, and routes has route as children. So I'll duplicate this route. And here I have to give the path, exact strict path. So here I'll just write login, and then I'll specify the element when login is clicked which route to be diverted. So here which component to be called, so here I will give it as sign in. I'll copy this, so I'll change login to sign in and one more sign up. So when I click on sign up, the sign up form should be called, so I'll write here sign up component should be called. So here I give sign up, and then for any other call I will call my home page, that is sign in component page. So I'll just specify like this. So this is how my app.js looks like. Okay, I have to restart my server. So I have started my server. So we have to this image inside my sign up form. Where I call my login page, here I'll just specify a link so that when I click on this, it should call the sign in page. So here when I call for sign up page, here I have to specify a link to my sign up page. So I'll specify the tag link which is available in React Router DOM module. And here I will give a to link, so I should give a link here. So I'll click sign up, I'll give it as sign up. So as you can see, when I click on sign up, it should redirect me to my sign up page. So somehow my login with Facebook and sign up to see button is displaced. But when I click on sign up, you can see my sign up form comes. When I click on login here, my sign in form should come. So I'll go to my sign up form at the place where there is a link for that login. So let me correct my alignment first. So as you can see, the have an account login has come a bit has been misaligned. So I'll try to cover up that first. So as you can see, it is aligned left of the div. So for that I will just specify here as a flex, and then I'll make it justify center. So let me see now. So it has been aligned properly. Now this, in order to align the login with Facebook module properly, so I'll just specify and I'll mention justify center. As you can see, now it has been aligned properly. So I'll give some kind of margin top and bottom to be 10 pixel. So as you can see, some kind of gap exists now. So I'll give it a margin top and bottom for my below element, and as you can see, now they are aligned. So let me do some kind of modifications here, and then see, now they are aligned properly. Now when I click on login, my sign in form should be called. In order to implement that, I'll put inside a link tag and I'll give two path. I'll copy this and I'll paste here it inside my link tag. And now here I'll give two path as sign in /sign in, so that when I click on login, it should redirect to my sign in page. So link is not defined, so let me define that. Let me copy the link import and paste in my sign up page and save the page. And see, now this is working. So when I click on login, my sign in page comes. When I click on sign up, my sign up page comes. So this is working fine. As you can see, now our routing path is also changed. When I click on sign up, you can see the sign up path comes in the route. Now I'll start my backend server powered by Eclipse. So this is my backend code, and I'll open my database. So this is mysql workbench where my database has been deployed. So this is the user interface of my mysql workbench. Now I'll go to my backend, and as you can see, this is my folder structure, and these are the different endpoints I have written. So when I open my folder structure, as you can see, my home directory and config controller DTO. This is my config directory where security config.java. Here I have written my security configuration, and this is my controller where I have different endpoints. So a call can be made from front end to fetch the data and to do CRUD operations. And this is the comment controller, and this is the post controller where a user can post a photo, a video, etc. And as you can see, /upload /user/all. And this is my comment controller. So this is for writing a comment under a post. And this is my DTO, and this is my entity class, which reflects my database tables. So this is like user info, and this is my filter where I have written a JWT auth token for my security. So like when front end sends a auth token, it will be filtered in the backend and it will be authenticated. And this is my repository class, and this is my service class. As you can see, this is post service implementation. This is user info service IMPL, where a call will be made to repository and the business logic will be written here. And this is my application properties file. As you can see, it is accessing mysql workbench, and these are the username and password, and this is my configuration driver. So based on this will hit to the backend and it will try to fetch the data from the database. Now I'll open my Postman. So Postman is like one app which is used to hit our REST points. As you can see, this is my post sign up. So when a user clicks sign up, he has to send these details, and you can see, as you can see, it is a JSON data. Body consists of JSON data, and this is my sign in. When a sign in endpoint is hit, we have to send username and password. So when I go and open my authentication controller, and you can see sign in. So this is the post mapping for sign in. So when I click sign in from the Postman, as you can see, the URL has to be same and it should be a post call, and this is the data that I'm going to send. So these are the fields which are required for my sign up call. As you can see, a username, post, email and full name. So which is like my sign up form in Instagram page, which can be get through my sign up page in Instagram page. So here when I hit /sign in, this will be called, and like different methods in a controller will have different endpoints, so they will be hit from the front end. And as you can see, for everything when a user clicks a sign in, I will be sending one JW2 token to the front end, so it will be used for further authentication calls. So as you can see here, this is where I have written the filtering mechanism. So as you can see, auth/user/any call, I am asking it to authenticate it, and as you can see, auth, welcome, comment, post, or anything related to that I am authenticating. And when you see sign in, sign up, and simple, so I am permitting. So this simple, I have written just an endpoint to test my API. So this is my SpringBoot application starter class, so I'll just click on run. So as you can see, my SpringBoot application has been started. As you can see, started Instagram clone application in 2.162 milliseconds. So now I will try to hit /welcome and /simple to test my call from the front end. So if I just get welcome call, if I do from the postman, since it is a get request, when I click on send, as you can see, the 403 forbidden error comes, which means my endpoint is authenticated. So without login, I will not be able to access this endpoint. As you can see in the security filter, so when a call is made /welcome, as you can see here, so I have made it authenticated. As you can see at the end, authenticated. And when I try to hit my /simple call, and when I click on sign in, as you can see here, my simple call is not authenticated. See, this is without any login, means I don't need any token or any authentication for this. So when I hit this, as you can see, this is without any login. I can see the request is 200 OK, means my request is successful. So this is how my backend is implemented. And when my server is started, when I go and open my schema Instagram, as you can see, my tables are created, because Spring JPA, it creates the tables for me. As you can see, ID, email, full name, my entities are reflected here. So this is like our entities will be exactly reciprocated to tables. So I will try to sign up with a user. I'll just hit through postman and see how my app responds. So I have given username, password, email, full name, and I'll just click on sign up. As you can see, an ID is created for me and my response is 200 OK. As you can see here, it is my JSON response. Since I have not passed any mobile number and I have not passed any post, this is the response. When I go to my database, as you can see, user in file, refresh, and I can see username with Rohit, means a full name with Rohit Sharma with a username Rohit is created. Now I will change these fields and I will make it Kohli, and here I will make Kohli 123, and here Kohli 999@gmail.com, and here I will give the full name as Virat Kohli. And when I send the request, as you can see, your user is created for me. And when I check in my database backend and I'll refresh here, see, a user with Virat Kohli full name is created in the backend. Now I'll try to hit sign in call. So this is my sign in. As you can see, username and password are required. So I'll give username as Kohli, and I have password as Kohli123, and I'll try to hit this and see 403 forbidden has come, because I think in authorization there would have been a header. So I have to remove that header. since when I go into the backend, as you can see, JWT exception, JWT is expired. So when I go my authorization, I can see a header is there. Since my sign in page doesn't need any header, I'll remove the header. Now I'll try to hit the endpoint sign in with Kohli details. When I hit, as you can see, I can see my user has been fetched. So Kohli and all the details for the Kohli has been fetched. And in the header, as you can see, a token has been given by my backend. So this is the token which I use for my further subsequent REST calls. So suppose if I hit this welcome, which is secured, so I'll try to hit with the token. Now I'll put here as bearer token, where I'll remove this old token here and I'll paste the new token, and I'll just try to hit my welcome endpoint. When I click, as you can see, it is 200. Okay, welcome, this endpoint is secure. So my REST call is success. So I'll just clear the logs and then I'll try to log in with Rohit. So I don't have any authorization header, so I'll just try to hit this API, and you can see now I got another header. I mean Rohit is logged in successfully and I got a header. Now I'll try to hit the endpoint. Now my bearer token has been changed, so I'll change the token here and I'll change this token and I'll paste the token here and I'll try to send. See, my HTTP call is success. So I got a response code. As you can see here, the token that I have displayed using system.out.println statement has been printed in the SpringBoot server, in the console menu of the SpringBoot server. So I'll try to user with a different user as Amitabh, and here I'll give password as Amitabh123, and here email as bigb999@gmail.com, and here I write the full name as Amitabh Bachchan. So when I hit the URL using the post data, so this is how my JSON should look like. So it will be mapped into my entity. As you can see, user is created with password as hashed password. So a user has been created and my password is hashed. You can see, since my password is Amitabh123, it is hashed. Now back in my sign in form, where I have written a form using formic, so I'll write validation of fields. For that I am going to use yep library. So I'll be start using yep library. Now for that I'll have a bunch of initial values. So I'll take the values as username, and password. So I have initialized my username and password, and then I'll give the validation object. So validation schema. So if I just Google as formic for React Native, I'll go inside the docs, and here you can see this is how this is like a normal validation, where validation can be done manually, and validation there is a separate third-party library called yep, which will take care of the validation of the input element. So this is how yep has to be imported. So import star as yep from yep library, and this is how the validation schema works. So I'm going to implement like this. Now for the validation schema, I'll write like yep dot so now I'm going to write my condition. So for the username, it should not be empty. So my syntax is like yep dot string dot required, means it is a required field, and so I'll give the command as username is required mandatory. And then I'll write the validation for my password. So I'll give a string as password cannot be left blank. So that's it, my validation is done. Now for the onSubmit function, I will be writing the code what to be done once if my validation is successful, what should be done on my submission of the button. So here we will write the code later. So as of now, I'll make set submitting to false. So here I'll try to just log my input that I have passed through the form. So here I'll just try to log my values now. And I'll try to test my form. So I'll start my server. And here I'll open my dev tools and I'll open my console, and here I give username as Modi and password as prime min. So I'll try to log in, and you can see here my form values have come here. So my form submission is working without any issues. So if I don't give suppose username, and if I just give the password, even if I try to log in, so my validation is failed since username cannot be null and it is required field. Suppose if I give password as blank and if I try to log in, see my form is not submitted because my validation is failed. So app library is doing the things for me. So I'll give the username as Sachin and password as Tendulkar, and if I log in, as you can see the form values are username Sachin and password Tendulkar are printed. Now I am going to do the same form validation using app library for my sign up form also. And here my fields are username, password, mobile and full name. So I will add mobile and full name extra fields, and I will do the validation for these two fields also. And now I'll try to test my sign up form. So here I give some random mobile number as 123456789 as mobile number, and name as Mahendra Singh Dhoni, and username as MSD, and password as cool. So when I click on my sign up, as you can see, form values are mobile as full name as Mahendra Singh Dhoni, and username as MSD, and password as cool. So those are printed. So my form validation is working. So app is taking care of my form validation. Now I am going to write my store management using Redux. So Redux is a library which is used for state management. So I am going to write the logic of my state management using Redux library. So these are the installation steps to install Redux, and then we have to configure the store, and then we have to use provider, and through provider we have to pass the store, and then we will use the state management from the store. So I'll just go here inside src. I'll create a folder called auth, and inside auth I'll create a file called authtype.js, and another file called authaction.js, and another file called authreducer.js. In auth type, I'll declare the constant strings sign in to be sign in, export const sign up to be sign up, and then export const error to be error. So these are the strings that I'm going to use from here on. And then in my auth action, here I am going to write the functionality. So here I am going to write the functionality. So I am going to export const auth action. So I'll take the input from my form pages, and then I'll make it as a async function so that it makes calls to my REST controllers and it gets that data. So I'm going to dispatch an action. So I'll use try and catch so that to handle the exceptions in case of an exception. And in order to make the REST calls, so I'll use a library called Axios. So I'll first try to install the library Axios. So I'll make use of Axios library to get the data from my backend, that is to make my REST calls. So I'll go to Google and I'll try to search as Axios React. So here it gives me details about how Axios works. So here these are the installation commands. So I'm going to install React Axios for my React Axios package in my application. So I'm going to give the command npm install Axios. So Axios is installed in my React application. Now I can use Axios. Since I have given async, I'll use it await. So I'll make a post request to my backend API. So I'll see what is the URL of my endpoint. I'll open my Eclipse and see that /signin along with class level controller request mapping auth. So it should be /auth/signin. As you can see, localhost 8080/auth/signin. So I'll copy this URL and I'll paste here. And then I have to pass the data that I got through the form, and then I have to pass the headers which are useful for my HTTP post request. So a catch should be followed by a try. So I'll write my catch block here. And now I'll construct the object for my headers. So I'll go to my Postman and I'll and I'll request for JavaScript code snippet, and as you can see, this is how my header should be. So I'll copy this and I'll paste here. So I'll copy the header information and I'll paste in my header object. So this is how my header should look like. Now I have to grab the response. So from the response, I'll extract the data. And then I have to extract the token that comes along with the response. So that token will be, that JW token will be inside my header. So I have to get the header from my response. For that, const token equal to response dot headers dot get of. So I got my token from my response. And then, so I'll try to print my token. So I'll try to print my data using JSON.stringify and output data. So here inside my error catch block, I will log it as error in reaching backend server. So now I'll go to my front end. And here I'll try to log in. But before login, so I'll go to my sign in form page, and here I have to call my method. So for that, I'll import auth action from my auth action.js. So here I have to call my method. Now before calling my method, I have to declare the dispatcher. So const dispatcher equal to use dispatch. I'll use the use dispatch hook. So I have to declare my use dispatch hook and I have to import it from my React Redux library. So my React Redux is not coming in IntelliSense. So now I'll install npm install react-redux. So my Redux library is getting installed. So it is done. Now I'll save and I'll try to write here Redux. So as you can see, now it has come in prompt. So here through the dispatch method, I'll call my auth action. So I have called my auth action method, and here I have passed the values. Here in my auth action, see, Axios is not defined, so I have to import the Axios library in my auth action method. So for that, import Axios from Axios library. So my Axios library has been imported, and now I'll try to call and see what is happening. So I'll just log in, and as you can see, the form values comes, but call has not been made. So I'll start my backend server. So my backend server has been started, and here I try to print my input data in the console to see whether the call has been made here or not. So for that, I'll write console.log input data is. So I'll just stringify the data using json.stringify method. What might be the reason JSON is showing error? Okay, so what might, okay, maybe I have to keep plus here, not inside my braces. So done. So I'll just pass the data here, and I'll restart my server once. As you can see, could not find React Redux context value. Means my reduction is not yet complete. Now I'll complete my auth reducer method. So I'll declare my initial state. As a sign in, my initial object will have two fields, one is sign in and one is sign up. So means whatever the data I got from sign in REST call will be settled in sign in variable, and whatever my sign up REST call data will be settled in sign up variable. If any error comes, so I have to push it to my error variable. So for that, I will give my auth reducer method, and here I declare my state to be an initial state, and I will declare action. So I will write a switch case here. If the action dot type, if the type is sign in, so as I have declared my sign in auth type.js, so I will return a fresh state with the updated values which I get from the REST call. So I will pop up my sign in object here. Action.payload. So I have populated my sign in variable here. As I can see, an error comes. Okay, I have written the return words wrong. So now I'll write case for sign up. So when my call is for sign up, then I'll return a state and I'll populate the sign up variable. Action.payload. And I'll write for error clause if any error occurs. I'll just return the initial state as the state. So now I'll save my method. As I can see, an error comes. So here, yes, it should be a function call. Yes, so this is done. Now in src folder, I'll create a folder called Redux. Inside Redux, I'll create a file as combined reducer.js. So I'll create one more file called store.js. So combined reducer is, if we have different reducers, it will combine and it will create one reducer object. So store.js will get the reducer object and it creates a store for us, which contains the state of the object, state of our application. So back in my combined reducer.js, I'll create a root reducer. I'll make use of combined reducer function. So for that I have to get my combined reducer. So for that I'll import combined reducer from React Redux library. So I'll install my Redux library. So I install my Redux library. So I'll get it from my Redux library. And it takes the parameters as so I'll give my auth reducer value for the combined reducers object. So inside my store.js, I'll create a store based on the combined reducer. Before doing that, I'll install Redux Thunk. So this is basically a middleware of React that creates a store for me. So these are the installation steps of Redux Thunk. So here I am going to install the Thunk inside my application. So for that, so as you can so this is the tutorial of Thunk. So we can go through this in order to understand understand the concept of Redux and Thunk. So I'll go and install here npm install Redux Thunk. So my Thunk is installed. So in my store.js, import Thunk from Redux Thunk. Yes, my Redux Thunk is installed. And then so I'm trying to create a store. So for that I'll use export const so I'll give my store name as app_auth. So for that I use a function called create store. So I have to import my create store. So what I'll do is import legacy create store from my Redux store. So as you can see, legacy store as create store from Redux. So now I'll use this create store, which is like legacy create store. So I'll use this create store function and I'll use apply middleware create store, and I have to give the parameters as root reducer, which is my reducer from the combined reducer JS, and then I have to give my apply middleware, and it takes parameters as thunk and then logger. So this logger is basically to print our state before and after state changes. So for that I'll npm install React logger, Redux logger. So my Redux logger is getting installed. As you can Google here, Redux logger. So we can go through this page in order to understand what is this logger and what exactly it does, and what kind of changes it prints in the console. So now I'm going to just import the logger. So import logger from my Redux logger. As you can see here, my IntelliSense source Redux logger. So here I'll give logger. That's it. So my store is ready with my state values. Now back in my app.js, as you can see here, React.strict my app is sandwiched with React.strict mode. So here I'll remove that and I'll sandwich it between my provider tags. So this provider tag supplies state to my application.